Hey, good evening, everyone. Today is August 25th, 2025. It was a Monday. I slept in like crazy. So all my goals for the day were not written down, but I did write them out posthumously after the day has occurred. And they were sleep in, brush my teeth, make lunch, made steaks, were super good. Watch DVD episode, Vampire Diaries, and then work at 4. Did all that. That's literally all I did for the day. We woke up at 1:50, bro. I was sleeping last night. I think we went to bed around 2, right? And just like it was actually insane that well, I got a lot of video logs to catch up on. That's crazy. It was actually insane. So I slept like a baby for about 12 hours. I woke up and it was cloudy outside, so I would look out my skylight window and I was just like sitting there. I was like trying to guess what time it is. I was like, it's probably like 11 or so, right? Check my phone, 1:50. What? 1:50? So I was like, that is so crazy, bro. That is wild. Okay, cool. So got up immediately, brushed my teeth, and then went and cooked the steaks downstairs. Made steaks, potatoes, and mac and cheese. It was so good. And then while we were eating, Ava and I watched an episode of the Vampire Diaries. And then by then it was like 3:40, so I had to immediately get dressed and go to work. And then I had a thought about an app. I'm gonna write it down right now. Just an idea I had that I'll share later, and was like just thinking like that would be actually a really good thing to have like as a mayor, like that'd be super convenient. And then thinking about that while I was driving to work, and then got to work. Work was a bussin', dude. It was so sick. By the time, so I get there at 4. By the time they got there at 5, I probably had 6 tables. Like it was banging, and then it was slow for like an hour, hour and a half, and then it was like picking up super busy, like super fun. And it was just 3 of us. Toby called out because she's still sick, but it was like really fun. I was like, I think I made over $100 this shift. Like it was really good day, and people were just like tipping well, very nice. There's a couple weird tables, very interesting for sure, but everything was like really good. Regular came in and he had been like growing out his beard to like be on a show, like they needed him to have like a rancher beard, whatever. And he had shaved it all off, and he was just like, dude, it's not itchy anymore. And I was like, honestly, yeah. And then I like saw that and he was telling me about it. I was like, dude, I literally had a dream last night because I slept for 12 hours. Some of it was like dreaming sleep. I probably had 3 separate dreams. I had a dream last night that I was shaving. It was this side of my face. It's like it's more than mirrored for me, but it was this side of my face, and there was like a patch here that I like got up, and it was like I'd shaved like this portion out, and I was just like in the dream. I was just like, dude, I'm cooked. That's tough. And so I literally was just like, all right, gotta shave the whole thing. So I shaved my beard in my dream. Didn't even see the end result by the time I woke up, and I was just like, I can't believe I just shaved my face. Like that's so weird to me. And then was like telling him about that, and he was like, I'm just glad it's not itchy anymore. And I was like, well, fair, dude, fair. Honestly, this is like the only part that gets itchy is like the neck. Ugh. Neck sucks. And then yeah, served him and all that. And then as like towards the end of the shift, my boy from high school, Ben, one of my friends, he came in, and we've been like better friends as adults than in high school, to be honest, which is like super cool. And I don't mind that at all. I respect it actually. And he was just like big as hell, dude, just like buff, super buff. And I was like, dude, good for you, bro. And I was like, I've gained weight, but it's just like pudge, bro. And he was like, oh, like flat, not even like flexing, just big, dude. I was like, dude, hell yes, bro. That's awesome. You look great. And we were like talking pretty briefly. It was really nice catching up. I was telling him about the garden. I was telling him about like being consistent. I was telling him about my little brother. We were talking about life. It was really cool. And then yeah, I ended up closing pretty late actually because it was just busy, dude. Like there was a couple to go orders towards the very end, and I was just like, oh my gosh, dude. Just never got the time to like get started on closing, so it was kind of ridiculous. And then I was super tired all day. Like I slept 12 hours. I was just like all day, bro. I was ready for a nap. And then Yeah, Ava and I got some McDonald's on the way home, and then I watched YouTube and played video games while I ate. Classic Kyle. And yeah, that was pretty much the whole day. And then watered my plants. They're doing fine. I have some tomatoes to pick tomorrow, and that's pretty much it. Let me go back to yesterday. I have some goals I needed to fill in for yesterday, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Move out old couch. Move in new couch. This is for yesterday, so you've already, if you're an avid follower, you've already seen all this. Move out old couch, move in new couch. K-pop movie at 5:30. Yep. What else did I do today? I did something else particularly important. Oh, Anthony, zucchini pickup. I spelled zucchini wrong. That's so tough. And then, give neighbors tomatoes. That was pretty cool. And then, yeah, we're going to pick up McDonald's breakfast, shower. What else did I do today? I feel like I did something else important yesterday. I don't remember what it was. Oh, meal prep / freeze steaks. Hopefully that'll be legible for the future generations. Probably not. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much in the whole thing for the day. So I had been doing research previously about like my favorite U.S. presidents, like what U.S. presidents I would want to meet, right? And so my daily thought today is about U.S. presidents quite regularly overreaching with their use of their executive power, like quite regularly. In some of the, I say quite regularly, some of the more prominent, important, impactful presidencies have regularly overreached executive power, like quite regularly. So James Polk was the Mexican-American War, expansionist movements. He instigated the Mexican-American War and like took the west part of the U.S. from Mexico, like the Southwest, the Texas, everything from Mexico. Like he initiated those things so that we could expand the U.S. territory. He did that. Congress did not want to do that at the time. And he was like, very much like, this is what we're going to do. And just kind of like made it happen. And reading up on FDR, same-ish deal. Like New Deal, signed in cool. Japanese internment camps, not cool. Very not cool. Not exactly okay with Congress. He did a couple other things I'm like trying to remember off the top of my head. And I don't, there was a lot of racial stuff that he ignored, like the civil rights movements was like bubbling up during his presidency. He ignored that. Congress, a lot of Congress members at the time were pretty pro civil rights or pretty no black people, which is crazy, right? Saying it nowadays is like, dude, there's people, like, you're saying black people, you can just drop the black. There's people, right? Like that's my simple whatever. But at the time, it's like he just kind of ignored that stuff and was like, there's bigger issues at play. And while there was bigger issues at play, you don't need to intern a bunch of Japanese people. You don't need to do that. There was another one that I was thinking of. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, opened up the railways so Congress could meet. And when they did meet, they were just like, hey, it's cool he did that. But in the goings of the Civil War, there were times where he had to overstep and kind of like pseudo dictator, like take absolute charge. Obama didn't do it that much, that much. There was a lot of stuff that was like the independent government agencies are not watched by Congress. It's more like the actions, like the checks and balances are in place. So some of the stuff that I disagree with for Obama's thing, like the members of Congress would have disagreed with, are more like the agencies were doing that. There was one more guy that I was talking about. George Washington didn't do. George Washington was the last of it. He didn't really do anything without congressional approval. He was the president, bro. He was really cool. God, gosh, I'm trying to. There was one other who like barely listened to Congress, and I don't remember who it is off the top of my head. I'm such a failure, but yeah, I just think it's really interesting that we have. It is very not abnormal, like it is quite. It's so difficult to like use statistical likelihood uncommon. It is uncommon that any president will make it through their term without trying to figure out some way to get past Congress, without like try to do it without congressional approval. If they know it won't get a congressional approval, they'll try to do it like another way. If they know it'll take a long time to go through Congress, they'll try to restructure it. Like there's a lot of power in the executive branch that they're kind of like, we could just like slip this through Congress. That'd be so cool. I feel like that in the modern day, especially, we don't view Congress as a powerful entity. Like the three branches of government are the executive, judicial, and the what's the term for it? Three branches. Legislative. Got it. It's the legislative. Judicial, legislative, executive. We don't place a lot of power in the legislative branch of government. Like that's literally law. And so it's like the legislative is making laws, judicial is upholding laws, and executive is like the spearhead of the country. And it's like the bureaucracy of everything, right? And I just feel like there's so much power in the executive branch, we barely put any power in Congress. Like, we don't respect Congress or the House of Representatives in any meaningful way as a country to actually allow them to be legislators and be a branch of government. Like, we don't respect them in the same way anymore. And it's like, even especially nowadays, in the media, what we're fed is we don't respect the judicial branch either. They just are law. They are law. Like, they are the law enforcement, right? They are lawyers. They are judges. That's what they are. The executive branch is what all eyes are on. We don't respect Congress or the Senate or the House of Representatives or any assemblyman in any state nearly enough for them to have actual power, right? It's like they don't have real power. And I'm wondering how it could be that way. They make the law. They decide what the law of the land is. How is it that we have continuously lost respect for them? And it's like, believe me, I asked that question. Hopefully you understand rhetorically. I know it's because of insider trading. I know it's because of the absolute bureaucratic nightmare that it is to get a law passed. I know that it's because they work 4 days out of the year at most. Even when they're in session, what is it, 3 months out of the year? Like, it's ridiculous. They don't... Why is my hair doing this? It's kind of pissing me off. Why are you doing this? It's like, okay. Anyways, they don't work. Like, they don't work. You know, it's not like the president where they have to be there all the time. It's not like judges. It's not a year-round thing. It's so easy for the American public to just not respect the legislative branch. It's so interesting to me. And I'm sure there's a bunch of deeper undercurrents than that. But the legislative branch of government in the modern day is just not nearly as impactful as it should be. And I think that sucks. I think that if you had a good legislative branch of government, you could have a really, really, really powerful, impactful, prominent movement to make the country's laws and customs much better. But because we're so poor at organizing, we end up just focusing on this one person in the executive branch. It's the very top, and we go, that guy's going to fix everything. And I know it kind of goes against my whole thing of like 2064 president. I think that if you could have a large group of people, all very clearly, directionally aligned, to absolutely make everything in America better for the common person, and you could get those people into seats of Congress, the world would be such a better place. The world would be a better place. Because there's so many things that they do that they listen to lobbyists on. And it's just, you sit there and you just go, this isn't going to be good for people. I'm just not going to do that. It's as simple as that. Why am I funding weapons in the Middle East? I'm just not going to do that. Like, it's not hard to just not do that. It's really not difficult. And so it's like, the issue is, that's what a political party is. If we could just get one large group of people in power and make America great again, that's what we're going to do. But it's not representative of what the people actually want. So is it good? Like, obviously that's an evil thing to do. If it's not what people want, if you're not representing people fairly, I don't think you should have that kind of power. Like, the whole gerrymandering thing is ridiculous. Why is that even possible? Like, it's because they make the laws. So they hold the power to make sure they hold the power. That's corruption. That's blatant corruption. And the fact that the executive branch and the judicial branch aren't absolutely holding them and, like, balancing them out is ridiculous. Especially when you have so much power within the executive to actually crack down on this. And they're just simply not doing that. So, yeah, it's like they're overreaching with the executive power in all the ways that aren't important. Think I give a fuck if ICE has $170 billion in funding? I don't care. I care that the congressional representative is listening to lobbyists over constituents. That's what I give a shit about. That's what's actually important. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you all had a wonderful Monday, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.